Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Sold with Updike Pugh.
My name's Jeff Updike.
And I'm Weston Pugh, and this is episode 37.
37. We've made it through 37 weeks of this.
It's amazing. We are, come August, that'll be a year for us.
Yeah.
So that's amazing. So thanks to everybody for tuning in. We appreciate all the feedback that we're getting. And I think that this is the week before Memorial Day. Mm-hmm. And so we wanted to say Happy Memorial Day to everybody since we won't hear from you before then.
Yep.
And one of the things that we did was we kind of came up with a couple of things that we thought might be interesting. And if you live in East Dallas or are going to be in the vicinity, if you go to Flagpole Hill off of Northwest Highway, the Dallas Symphony is having a performance there, and it is going to be really great. And afterwards, there's also fireworks. So if this is something that you're interested in and you're on that side, great time. If not, and you just want to see fireworks, this is another great place to go and see.
Yep. One of the other things that's going on this weekend is the first ever Memorial Day concert music fest at Clyde Warren Park in downtown. And they are going to have the pavilion stage, which you see right there. They're going to have an east stage and a west stage set up. This goes on Sunday, May 26th from 2 p.m. until 10 p.m. And I was just looking through the band lineup, and they've got a really great lineup between rock, jazz, country, and then some that kind of crosses the line between all of it. One of the favorites that we all know is Jonathan Tyler's going to be there, and he performs at 8:30 on Sunday night. So that's definitely somewhere I'm going to be.
Oh yeah, Jonathan Tyler is one of my favorite. He actually opened when the Calatrava Bridge when it happened, and then he usually performs New Year's Eve at the Granada. So if you haven't seen him before, it's a great time to go see.
Yeah, I can't wait to tell Heath about that because he's just going to do backflips.
Yes, and one of the other things too is that Jeff has been invited this coming Friday to actually participate in
North Lake Elementary Career Day. And it's a really great opportunity. I think there's either 4 or 5 other people are going to go in for that morning, and we get to be in a classroom with 5th and 6th graders and talk about what our career is and how we got to where we are. There is a doctor coming, there's a firefighter coming, there's a friend of ours that's an engineer that is coming. So it's going to be a really interesting day. I don't think any of us have done this before, so it's I'm a little nervous, a little excited.
Well, one of the great things too is that we'll be able to have Ceci there to actually document it and keep us posted on social media. So stay tuned for that. That'll start on Friday. Well, this week, one of the things that we decided to do was we wanted to take and highlight homes that had been renovated, and it carries us actually into our second segment as well. And we wanted to show people and talk about things that we see that buyers find importance and actually value, add true value to the home. And one of the things is like, what are the things that you and I look at when we go into a home and buyers that us seems to add that value that's beyond just the cosmetics? And I think that's what we're going to talk about: windows, plumbing, electrical. So these are things that we kind of are going to point out as we tour these different homes. And the first one is going to be 3541 Woodley Drive.
And the 3541 Woodley Drive is a really great, we're going to call it a mid-century modern. It was built in the 1950s, and it does have that very classic A-frame style from the front portion of it. The location on this is really one of those fantastic locations where you've got easy access into downtown. You've got great access to Love Field. You have easy access to I-35. You know, we are very fortunate in this city to be one of those cities where you can be almost anywhere in about 20 or 25 minutes. And with the way so many of our streets go, really from one side of town to the other, if the interstates get clogged, you've got really great through access. Like this is right off of Marsh Lane, and Marsh Lane goes all the way from North Carrollton all the way into downtown where it turns into Lemon. And so from a location perspective, this is just, I mean, it's really kind of in the heart of the city, I think.
And so one of the things that we'll do on this one, in this segment, is that we'll talk about each home, and we'll also talk about what's been renovated. So on this one, there's been quite a laundry list that's been done. So I guess we start at the front. Sprinkler has been done on this one. We also have a new freshwater line that has been taken care of on this one. Inside the home, we have insulation that's been blown in. You also have the electric system that has been relocated to the garage from the inside of the house. And one of the great things about this house is that it's also been updated with a brand new pool that was put in last August.
Months ago,
Yeah, August. This house also was purchased, already renovated, and so a lot of the heavy lifting had been done. And so this homeowner didn't have to redo the kitchen. They didn't have to put in the can lights. They didn't have to put the windows in because this had been done for them. And this begins to create what today's buyers typically are looking for. So
There's, one of the, we helped the buyer find this house when they were moving closer in. They moved from, what city was it out there? Watauga?
at the South Lake.
Yeah,
Was
it,
it? Oh, he
it
works in
past
South Lake.
South Lake, yeah. And one of the things that I think was in his mind and what he was, or competing in his mind, was that he was living in what was almost a brand new home. And so he was really looking for a lot of those nicer things that you find in, you don't necessarily find in the 1950s homes, but you do in the renovated ones.
Yep.
So this one had all the windows replaced and, like you were saying, it's really a lot of the heavy lifting had been done.
So the infrastructure is a good thing for so many of these houses to have done. The other thing too that he did was he did the fence. And so at the end of the day, a house like this, even though it's 1955, 1953 construction, it's move-in ready. And I think so many people are really interested in move-in ready homes. And the other thing that they've done is they've opened some walls. So it's a strong 3-bedroom, 2-bath. It has a really designated family room, and then it has a great kitchen and dining combination. So this home really has a strong attraction for many buyers that are out in our market today.
Yep, and it's priced at $425,000. That brings it in about $240 something a square foot. It's a 1,750-ish square feet. And if you'd like to see this home, give us a call. We'd be happy to show it to you.
You bet. So the next one that we're going to go, and this is still staying in East Dallas, and we're just going to go just down. Oh, I'm sorry. We were in North Dallas. Now we're going to go all the way to East Dallas. And this one is 242 Easton Road. And this is adjacent to Old Lake Highlands. And this is an area that I used to live in probably 4 or 5 years ago. It's a great little get-to neighborhood. When I lived over there, I had the ability that I could actually ride to the lake and then ride around the lake. Having Northwest Highway right there at your disposal was great because I could get 275 and I could get all the way over and keep going to go see my parents across the mid-cities using the express lanes. One of the things too is that a lot of people don't think about it, but Van Dyke is right there, and Van Dyke is a great cut through for you to actually connect over to Mockingbird. So great area in this one.
Yeah, and it's one of those neighborhoods that's really adjacent to White Rock Lake. You're just a couple of minute walk from Norbuck Park, which is one of the entry parks into the White Rock Lake system, and it's just a very convenient location.
Yeah. And one of the things that I forgot about is that if you're on 635, not to take 75, but to actually go past 75, heading east and jump off Plano Road and then come down that way. You forget that that's such a quick way in. So,
and this is a one-story ranch home, really nicely done. They left a lot of the ornamental iron on the front, which I think still ties it in really well with the age of the house. You've got great drive up, a couple of big trees there, crepe myrtles, which are some of my favorite plants for Texas because once those things start blooming, they bloom all summer long. They've done quite a bit of renovation to this. The new front door has been put in. You got the great big front porch, and this is one of those neighborhoods that's one that you really get to know your neighbors.
Oh yeah,
and it's a front porch neighborhood.
That's
what
a
I'm
perfect
trying to
way
think
to say
of.
That's it. This home also has had the renovation as far as walls were reconfigured in this one. It also had windows that had been replaced. Front door was also new, as you saw in the pictures, and it had a keyless alarm, or a keyless front door and alarm. The way that they had redone the kitchen, I think, is one of the ways that really adds a strong value, is opening it up. They had spent, you could tell, a little extra money on the countertops with it being what looked like a quartz-based product. Really strong, great veining. And then the 42-inch cabinets, they had actually taken them to the ceiling. So had there been headers there, they had removed them in order to make the kitchen seem like something that we would see today.
And you know what was one of the things that really stood out to me about this house is you don't really find houses like this that have the kitchen on the front.
Right.
You know, a lot of times you've got a small dining room up there, or you've got the laundry room up there. And this, when we walked through this one, it really kind of reminded me of, like, you know, a mom's home, where mom's standing there in the kitchen, you know, either doing whatever she's doing there, but she can look out and see the kids playing in the yard, and, you know, it's just a real neighborly feeling.
It does have a great feeling. The backyard is also viewable from both of the family rooms on this house. And there is also a backyard that has a good condition fence. It looks like it was just stained, and the fence is, or the garage is also detached.
Really a great house. And this one is priced at $399,000, brings it in about $225 a foot, located in Lake Highlands Estates. A really great value. If you'd like to see it, let us know. But we'd also like to say thank you to Albany Shaw for letting us talk about her home today.
That is correct. And then the next one, I went the wrong direction. We are going to be headed to,
11730 Sahara Way.
1130. This one is the one that's just a little bit further down the road. This one is, again, a great area inside of East Dallas. This is what we would consider proper Lakewood. And Lakewood is one of the houses that's a little further tucked onto the east side of the lake. But it has its really good character. Again, you have great access. I believe that's Garland Road right there that'll allow you to come right up. Garland Road actually will connect you to 635 and all the way down to 30. So this is a great commuter neighborhood. Some people are not sure, but this one really does do the trick.
And it's located right in the center of Lockwood. And Lockwood is really one of the very large subdivisions in Dallas. It goes all the way from Northwest Highway down to the Garland Road, which a lot of neighborhoods are kind of broken up into micro neighborhoods, but this one's not. And it does have direct access to Lipton, which was the street that we came in on. That is just a beautiful,
It's got the creek on one side.
meandering, creekside street.
Yep. And this is one of the ones, the reason why we came across this one is because we actually showed this to some of our clients. This house is in such good condition that it actually pulled our clients that were looking over in North Dallas, but because of the condition of this one, they really wanted to go see this one. So it sits a little bit higher on the street, which is really great from views. Inside, the kitchen has been redone to configure it so it's an eat-in kitchen with a great dining room. And then the family room actually connects to the study that's at the back of the house by a fireplace. So there's a lot of good extras on this one. And amazingly enough, this one also has a pool in the backyard.
Yep, and it's really done beautifully. That was a great picture of the way that living room and dining room are separated by the fireplace. Does have gutters, beautiful privacy fence, as Weston said. The hardwood floors have been redone. Here's a picture of the kitchen and the bar that's open to that. And it's really kind of that perfect size where we see a lot of houses where they've only got two spaces there.
Yeah.
And that gets a little bit crowded. This one's really a nice sized island right there.
The other thing too is the location of this one has the master at the back of the house, which I like. And then also the kitchen is at the back of the house, and the kitchen actually opens up and looks into the pool. So again, this house has been renovated quite well. This is a great shot of the outdoors pool, but then I think one of the other things is that you have outdoor lounge, but you also have outdoor seating. And the seating area that's closest to the house will be a great place to actually add additional outdoor dining if you wanted. And it does have storage. Fence on this one was also redone, which is a great factor. Again, we're talking about things that begin to add up, but when they're done and a buyer can move in, they are really strong value adds.
Yeah, and this one's priced at $359,000. That brings it in about $257 a square foot. And we wanted to say thank you to Sam Bullard for letting us talk about his home today.
Yep. Thank you, Sam. So the next one we're going to do, now we're going to move all the way into the Oak Cliff, and this is going to be 906 Elmdale Place.
Yep, this is a great neighborhood. It's in Elmwood,
Yep.
which, if you remember, we just sold a home that was on Cascade. It was in this neighborhood. We also sold Melbourne that was in this neighborhood. And Elmwood is one of those really well-connected neighborhoods in Oak Cliff, and it is still one of the affordable neighborhoods down there. It was primarily built in the 40s and 50s, and I think we talked about this at first. This was started as a farm, and it kind of became the neighborhood in the 1940s and 1950s. This is a really great 2-bedroom, 1-bath. It's about 1,250 square feet. It's one of the newer constructions in the neighborhood that was built in 1981.
And one of the things about this neighborhood is that we're getting houses like this one here that has been completely renovated, and then we're getting brand new construction. This one right here, when you look at it, you can see that you've got gutters that have been added, you've got new windows, and the new front door. So this one went just a little bit further, and when you go inside, they've taken and redone all of the actual flooring on this thing and reconfigured the kitchen as well. So you get new flooring, new windows, can lights, and then there's new solid surface, and I don't remember if it was quartz or granite. It looks like it was quartz, countertops, and then new kitchen or cabinets as well. So it's almost completely redone, and it's done in a way that we see a lot of buyers being able to like fit into it, whether it's maybe someone who's a first-time home buyer or if it's someone downsizing. This is one of those houses that really look like it could meet multiple buyers' needs.
And it's a really great value for the neighborhood. You know, this is kind of fills a need that when we were trying to comp out our Cascade and our Melbourne, it was one of those price points that there really wasn't much inventory for. There were houses that had nothing done to them that were priced in the low 200s, and then there were those that had everything done to them that were priced up into the mid 3s. And so this really kind of fits right in the middle where there's not a lot of inventory right now.
And it does. And the other thing too is the quality of the inventory. Sometimes you might have 4 or 5 of them at this price point, but this would by far be one of the best ones on the market at this price point.
Absolutely.
One of the things also that we noticed when we were in this neighborhood is that one of the developers that we've sold their houses is actually a new construction just across the street and like 3 over. Brand new construction. We recognized it right away. So this is one of those neighborhoods where you can see that it is beginning to make that ascension. So if you're looking for trying to get into a home before everybody else gets into the neighborhood, this would definitely be something that's worth thinking about.
Absolutely. And this house is priced at $279,000. That brings it in about $223 a square foot. And we want to say thank you to Susan Melnick for letting us talk about her home.
Yep. Great set of homes. And again, the theme for this week was a renovation. And so we hope we were able to point out what we see in the marketplace as what is a viable renovation for buyers and what makes them really jump on these things. If any of these are something that you'd be interested in, please let us know. We'd be happy to show you or share more information or find you similar homes to them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's great.
So let's move on into the kind of our second segment today, and it's talking more about the renovation and 5 tips before renovating.
Yeah.
You know, most people want to buy a home that has been fully renovated. There is certainly that pool of people out there that want to buy the project, or they don't mind doing a little paint, or they don't mind doing carpet. But when you look at the mass of the market, most of the people are going to want something that is fully renovated and ready to move into.
Yep.
And so if you are considering the sale of your home, then, you know, here are things for you to think about to get it ready to, even if it's a year away, it's just kind of a roadmap to get started with.
So one of the things that everybody thinks about when they think about renovating is that they think about what color are they going to paint and what is the flooring going to be and all of the fun stuff. But I really think that people that don't like back up just a bit, there's a bunch of stuff that you need to do before the hammer swings. And that's what we really wanted to talk to you about in today's show, was talking about doing your due diligence so that when it comes time to pick the colors and everything, you're set up to be successful with that.
Yep.
So the first thing that we talked about, and this is really what Jeff is strong at, is to know the neighborhood and know the comps.
Yeah.
And you've really taught me like the strengths of zeroing down in a neighborhood and shown me so many different ways in which to look at something, find out if there's anomalies, find out what the trend is going to become, and you just work it through. And it takes you probably like an hour and a half to come up with the value, but you grind it out.
It's one of those things that you gather, you just gain over time. It's it's
Yeah.
part of the experience, and it's part of the reason that you use an experienced realtor. Most I would venture to say that we've sold in almost every neighborhood out there now. I mean,
Yeah.
after
In 10 years, of
28,
course.
yeah,
Well, you're 20.
yeah, after 28 years, I think we've sold, between the two of us, we have sold in every neighborhood. And so, getting into the meat of the comps is really important. And so you have to know, as a homeowner, you really need to know how far can you stretch that price point. How much do you want to put into that, so that there is the collision of how much you're putting in and the time that you're wanting to own the property, and be prepared to sell it, so that when you do get ready to turn it over to us to sell, it's, you're going to get your money back and then some.
And one of my favorite lines that I ever heard when I first got into business was from Mike Grossman. And Mike Grossman said, "You don't make money at the point of sale, you make money at the point of purchase."
Very true.
So if you're paying more than you should for a house, then it's going to be that much more difficult for you to make money when you turn around and sell it. Plus, it really does eat into the budget. And so with that being said, one of the things that we want to talk about is knowing the health. It is critical to know the actual health of a house. And that comes with knowing having a comprehensive set of inspections done on the house.
Yeah, and it's also one of those things that you don't do the same inspections on every home.
Correct.
There are inspections that you want to have done when you've got a pier and beam foundation, and it's types of inspections you want to have done when you were built, prior to 1970, and some that, if it's a brand new construction, there's a different set of inspections you want to have done for that, just because one inspection can't cover everything.
It can. And one of the other things too is going over the seller's disclosure and looking at what has been done on the house also will help open up an avenue and know which direction to go when it comes to making additional inspections.
Yep.
So one of the things that we want to kind of reference is that in episode 32, and you can find these on our YouTube and on our Facebook, we go into a detailed explanation of what the inspection process is, because sometimes it can feel daunting, but we don't want to take this time right now, but we want you to know that there's an entire episode 32, that'll be able to help you and show you more and more about what to expect during that process.
Yep. Number 3?
Number 3 is a tough one.
Yep.
So this is the one where you have to know your budget, and budget again. We have seen it in so many examples, and this can be from a big builder all the way down to your neighbor who flips a house that didn't do their budget right, and therefore the project is incomplete. The project really got cheap at the end, or it's a combination. So one of the things that we really talk to people about is knowing what they're going to spend, and then your big thing is knowing what your extra factor is going to be.
Yeah. Yeah, anytime that we've redone a house, we always have the fudge factor built in, because there are some things that you will run into. If I were to pick one thing from HGTV that is true, it is that you are going to find something you didn't expect in a renovation project.
And that's absolutely true, but you really, and I kind of just want to go back to point 2, is that in the inspection, you're hoping that you're going to have done enough due diligence to actually have a very clear budget. When I did my first renovation for my own house, I had not taken into account all the little things. So I would think tile is this amount, but it's not just tile. It was, did I need subfloor? Did I need hardy backer? Did I need to have
What was your grout?
what was my grout?
Yeah.
And then also calculating taxes. At the end of the day, the cost of your tile is X, and everything else could be a third of that. And if you have a third added on every single item you do, that adds up quick.
Yeah. And we talked about this a couple of times before. We talked about it in episode 21 when we were talking about the loan process and doing a renovation loan. And then we also talked about it a couple episodes ago when we had the architect on, Larry, to kind of talk about how do you just prepare for all of this.
That's right.
And one other thing I'll say is that many times homeowners they don't do themselves a service when they begin to make those budget numbers smaller, just because they want all those things in the budget.
Right.
It really, I try to tell people when they're buying their first home, buying and owning a home is not an event. It's a process. And so you might not be able to do everything that's, in your wish list within the first year, within the first 2 years, but getting that budget together gives you an idea of how much you need to save, how much you need to plan for a year, 2 years from now. We just closed on a home with a guy a couple of months ago, and one of the big ticket items on that house is going to be a new fence around the backyard. And it was one of those things that I think he thought he knew how much it was, but after we gave him a couple of people to call, he got a real bid for it. And, now he's planning for that. And probably within the next 3 months, we'll see a new fence up. So.
Yep. And that's a great thing, again, just to go back and know that everything doesn't have to be done all at once, that renovations can actually be done in phases, and some of the best ones are. And bringing in the architect will allow you to create that phases, to create harmony throughout the house, and to get the most money when you turn around to go sell it. So that brings us to the fourth one, because when you miss your budget, or when you get the perfect tile, there are a lot of emotions that will be experienced during this, and it is a journey that you're going to experience.
Yeah, and just be emotionally prepared for the process. It is highs, and it's got a few lows in the process, and you just have to be prepared to take those things on, because there will be days that you'll feel like you're not making any progress on this project, but then you'll also have periods where everything starts coming together.
And it's amazing when it does all of that. We always tell people, especially if this is your first time and you're doing it with someone else, communication is going to be key at this point.
Yeah, it really is.
So again, it's a small little point that we're going to talk about, but it really does kind of cover everything.
Yep. And the last one that we have is number 5. Don't forget the landscaping. The landscaping, we had Patrick on last week, and Patrick is a horticulturist and really great landscape designer. And he was talking something that I can't say to people clearly enough, because landscaping is an investment. It is not just to make the house look pretty. It is an investment.
I absolutely believe that, and I thought it was really interesting that he was like, statistically, a well-renovated house, it adds as much value as a renovated kitchen that's done well. So these are things to me, and again, he pointed out, he's like, it's the first thing and it's the last thing you see, and it is such a simple thing. It is worth every bit of hiring someone to kind of help you out with that and making the best steps that you can going forward. It just adds the value.
Yeah, and a landscaping plan is one of those things that you can have done now and you can do in phases.
Absolutely, we did.
Really, in landscaping, it shouldn't look its best the day you put it in the ground.
Right.
It should look better a year and 2 years from that. Because the maturity is really what kind of brings the beauty and brings the flavor and kind of overall enhances the house.
Yep. So that is our segment and our take today on how to renovate, what's critical. We hope that you found that important. And if you have things that you've done in the past that seem really important, we'd love to hear from you as well.
Yes. I really enjoyed talking about this today, because I think it's some of the crucial parts.
It is. It's not just the fun. It's just not picking the right dark gray to put on the wall or the what seagrass. It is making sense of everything before you do anything.
Yeah, it sure is. So, well, thank you very much for joining us today. I've really enjoyed our show today.
Good.
Second segment was everything I thought it would be. So we want to say thank you for tuning in. Visit our Facebook page, and obviously you're probably there if you're watching this now, but just click that little like button. Also, connect with us on Instagram. We try to keep that updated with things that are going on in the real estate world. You can also visit our website at updikepugh.com, where there's a lot of detail about the process of buying or selling a home. You can also set up some custom market reports there. Last of all, homeprice.fyi. If you want an instant value to your home, just go there, put your address in, add a couple other pieces of info, and we will instantly give you an amount. And then last of all, contact us through the traditional ways. Give us a call, 214-377-2223, and we would love to hear from you.
Thank you so much. Have a great Memorial Day. Everyone be safe. And remember, we want to be your realtors for life.